What's going on, guys? Piluk Hockey here. I am back with another video. Today we're going to be discussing the NHL trade deadline and what happened during the day. Now, if you weren't around today on YouTube and you had to do other things like school and work, Neil from Post to Post and myself did a live stream on this channel. We did it for like over 6.5 hours, and there was a lot of awesome people there. I met a lot of great new people, and we were talking all day about trades, and that's still on the channel if you want to go watch that, some of it, because I know it's pretty long, of course, but you can go and skip through parts around times of the day that maybe you thought a big move that you liked happened. There wasn't a ton of movement, but when there was movement, there was a lot of it, like at the end. So we're going to be just talking about some of the trades that happened. I've got my laptop in front of me with some details. I just want to go over some of the trades. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Let's get to 2,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate that. To all the new subscribers, thank you for being here. Let's just talk some hockey like I do every single day. And yeah, this is going to be a fun video. So we're just going to go through some of the trades like I mentioned, and not all of them because some of them weren't as big as the others, but I've got some thoughts on some of the minor trades as well. So the first trade that I'm going to just quickly talk about here is Columbus acquiring Ian Cole. Now, we knew that Ottawa was going to flip Ian Cole. It did happen, of course. I'm going to say some of these names wrong because a lot of these guys might be like prospects or guys that haven't been given NHL playing time. Nick Motre and a third-round pick in 2020 to Ottawa for Ian Cole. So nothing too crazy there. Columbus just was acquiring some guys today. They actually made a couple moves, and that's just a minor transaction in my eyes. Some fans may look at that differently, but Ottawa's just trying to stock up as much as possible in this rebuild that they have. Another deal, this deal I really like, but some of these guys were expensive. So the Nashville Predators acquired Ryan Hartman, a young forward, and a 5th-round pick in 2018 for a 1st-round pick in 2018, a 4th-round pick in 2018, and Victor Edsel. I could be saying that wrong as well, but Hartman is a young forward. I'm not sure where he's going to fit in with the Predators, but again, it's all about depth, especially when you're going to make a run at it, and Hartman has showed promise last year. I think he had 19 goals. And this year, what does he have, like 8 or 10? I could be wrong. But with this Nashville team, he might be able to really pick it up depending on who he plays with. And I think that Nashville gave up quite a bit. So they must see some big potential here. And we all know Nashville's going all in. So I don't mind this trade whatsoever. And as much as they did give up quite a bit, they obviously see the value in Hartman being a good depth piece, and they got it done. This is one of the bigger trades that I like. Actually, you know what? I'll skip over this one for now. Let's talk about another minor trade. Vancouver acquiring Brandon Leipsic, Vegas acquiring Philip Holm. Now, on Holm, I think I don't know too much, but I know that he's played pretty decent. According to Jim Benning, he's had a good year. When I was watching his press conference, he said it was easy to flip Holm just based off the fact that they liked Leipsic and they felt that was a need that they had. So they wanted to be able to flip a piece that they could that was expendable, according to him. So Brandon Leipsic, I've seen him play for Toronto before. I guess Vegas fans were fans of him as well. But I think that this is good for Vancouver. He's going to get a chance to play in their top 9 for sure. And let's see what he can do. I think that he's a skilled forward. He actually scored his first NHL goal against Vancouver, so that's interesting. Back to this trade I was going to talk about before. The Winnipeg Jets acquiring Paul Stastny. I think he has like 40 points this year, maybe a little bit more, 41 points. St. Louis got a conditional 1st-round pick in 2018, a conditional 4th-round pick in 2020, and Eric Foley. Now, with the conditions, it doesn't list all the conditions here. If anybody wants them, I'm pretty sure you can find them in the stream from earlier, or you could probably just search it up. I'm not sure of all the conditions because they were all kind of coming through, and some of them were a little bit foggy to me. So forgive me. I'm not sure of all the conditions, but regardless, the Jets have made a pretty significant move here. I'm guessing this has to do with how far they go in the playoffs, or I think Stastny still has a pretty long contract if I could remember correctly. He might not, but maybe maybe he doesn't have a contract. Maybe one of the conditions is so that way he signs past this season or past the 2019 season maybe. So or no, it must be a UFA for this year. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to look up the conditions, but regardless, Paul Stastny going to the Jets is clearly a move that they needed to make because the Jets are pretty much going for it. They've been a fantastic team this year, and adding more depth to a team like Winnipeg who wants to score more, I think that's a great move, and it's a pretty big move. One of the bigger moves of the day for sure. Another minor trade, the Ducks getting Jason Chimera, the Islanders getting Chris Wagner, nothing too much there, just a nice swap. Thomas Vanek going to the Columbus Blue Jackets for UC Jokinen and Tyler Mott. Some people think that this was like a bit of a steal for Columbus. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know what to think. I haven't seen too much of Tyler Mott, but Vanek could probably do some damage with Columbus, and they made some smart moves today. So maybe Vancouver just felt like they weren't getting enough offers on him and the market wasn't there. So this was the best offer they had, and they made the deal happen. The next deal I'm going to talk about is Evander Kane going to the San Jose Sharks. Now, this was a move that everybody felt was going to happen, like Evander Kane getting traded. The Sharks I think I might have mentioned that the Sharks could go after him. I could be wrong. I'll check it out on my channel later. I can't remember. But Evander Kane going to the Sharks, we'll see how he fits in with that system. He was acquired for Daniel O'Regan, a conditional first-round pick in 2019, and a conditional fourth-round pick in 2020. Now, I believe the conditions on this are for signing if he does sign with the team. Maybe it turns into a pick for 2018. I'm not positive, but there is a ton of conditions, and I'm sure you can find it on Elliot Friedman, his Twitter account, or probably within Cap Friendly or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it has to do with him signing. But I think that if he does start clicking with this San Jose team, especially when Joe Thornton comes back, maybe it's a good fit. Maybe he starts to spark his offense once again. I know he slowed up a little bit there, but we'll have to see. I like the move. If the Sharks feel like this was a good pickup for them, then I guess Sharks fans should be happy because they invested in trying to go for a bigger name player today, and hopefully it works out. Another minor trade, Pittsburgh getting Josh Joris for Greg McKegg going to Carolina. Just a quick little mention there. I didn't want to talk too much about, I didn't want to talk too much about the minor trades, but some people like those. Vegas acquiring Thomas Tatar. Now, we know that Vegas was in heavy for Erik Karlsson right down to the last minute. So this was the deal that they wanted to make, I guess, for not getting Karlsson. Obviously, it's not a defenseman, but they really wanted to make a big move. Them being buyers at the deadline is crazy. Nobody would have ever guessed it. But I think, for me personally, I like Tatar, but I think they gave up too much. They gave up a first-round pick in 2018, a second in 2019, and a third in 2021. So I guess Vegas sees this window of opportunity and thinks if everybody drops off next year, then this is going to suck, so let's go for it. So they picked up Tatar. Hopefully he can add something as well to the already amazing offense that Vegas has. So we'll have to see how this works, but I think they gave up just a little bit too much. I think that they got a little bit too trade happy once they knew they couldn't get Karlsson. Like, okay, we got to get somebody else, and then they made this move. And maybe Vegas fans wanted to see it happen, but I think that Vegas fans should have been happy if they didn't do anything based off the fact that they shouldn't have even been in this position in the first place. But I guess, in my opinion, I guess it's better to make this move because it shows that they are going for it. The next trade I'll talk about, Nick Shore going to Calgary for a 7th-round pick 2019. Nothing too crazy there. Montreal acquiring a 4th-round pick in 2018 for Joe Morrow to the Jets. One of the bigger trades, I guess, if you're a fan of the Oilers, Patrick Maroon was traded to the New Jersey Devils for a 3rd-round pick in 2019 and J.D. Dudek. So it looks like Maroon wants to come back to the Oilers even after this trade. The Devils, obviously picking up Grabner and now Maroon, are putting together a pretty good offense to add to, you know, guys like Taylor Hall and Hischier and all those guys over in New Jersey. So this is a cool move. I like it. Pat Maroon maybe getting a better chance to play with some better forwards at this point. I know has had time with McDavid and Draisaitl at different times, but maybe it's just the fit. Maybe he needs to get a new change of scenery, and playing with the Devils might help him. I know he's played with some good players, but this might be a good move for him. Mike Riley going to the Montreal Canadiens for a 5th round pick. It was Washington's pick, so Minnesota got that pick from Montreal. Tommy Wingels going to Boston from Chicago for a conditional 5th round pick. And the New York Rangers acquiring Chris Bigras for Colorado. Colorado shipped over Chris Bigras to the Rangers for Ryan Graves. So that's just another minor trade. But, of course, we're going to get to the big trade that everybody seems to want to talk about. And, of course, why wouldn't you want to? This is a huge trade. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who are already first in the Atlantic, acquired Ryan McDonagh and JT Miller for a 1st round pick in 2018, a conditional 2nd round pick in 2019, and Vladimir Nemestikov. I always want to say Nemasenkov. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I think it's just Nemestikov. Libor Hajic and Brett Howden. So that's a pretty hefty return. I think Tampa's not really going to miss anything off of what they gave up, and I think I've seen that from like Damian Cox or something like that. I have to agree. I mean, they picked up a great defenseman and another good forward. So that's huge for Tampa. And the conditional 2nd round pick in 2019 that went to the Rangers, the condition I believe on that is if Tampa wins the Cup this year or next year, that actually turns into a 1st round pick as well. So the Rangers could end up with 2 firsts. And Tampa being a favorite for the Cup, that could very well turn into a 1st. Excuse me. This is a huge deal. I can't say that enough. This was the deal that everybody was waiting for, but this is a huge package going to the Rangers, and I think Rangers fans should be happy with the return they've gotten on Nash, Grabner, and now McDonagh and Miller. Zuccarello sticks around. He's probably going to be a part of their future. Hopefully, I like Zuccarello. It would have been cool to see them get a good package for him too, but why not just keep him? Maybe they trade him in the offseason, but they've picked up quite a lot. They're going to have, I think, a fairly decent rebuild because you still have Henrik Lundqvist in net, and now you've picked up Nemestikov, and you're probably going to pick you're going to have some pretty high picks, especially if Tampa does win the Cup this year. That turns into a 1st round pick this year, I believe. Maybe it only turns into maybe it does turn into it. We'll have to see the conditions. No, wait, how could it turn? I'm so dumb. That pick would turn into a 1st in 2019, I believe. So that's cool. So it would be a 1st this year and a 1st in 2019. I'm so dumb. Why would I think you would get 2 firsts this year when they only had 1, I believe? Sorry guys, I'm blanked out. It's been a long day. I did stream for 6.5 hours with Neil. But yeah, just a crazy day. I'm looking through here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Lots of big deals. The Hartman deal was pretty big. The Stastny deal was pretty big. Obviously the Evander Kane deal. The Tatar deal because they gave up too much in my opinion. And of course, the McDonagh and Miller trade. The Rangers or the Tampa Bay Lightning have got to be Stanley Cup favorites at this point. Even after this trade is just a huge deal. I bet they didn't want to give up Nemesnikov, but they kind of had to, and to get this deal done. Rangers fans will probably be excited. Hockey fans are excited when lots of trades happen. So let me know what you guys think. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Let's get to 2K subscribers. New videos every single day. I appreciate the support today. Lots of new people here. Thank you for coming along for the ride. It's going to be very fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.